trying to do them daily. And today I want to talk about something that a lot of us, especially if you were inclined to click on this podcast link or perhaps on YouTube where I broadcast it simultaneously, a lot of you have experienced some of these signs and symptoms that I'm going to go over. This is all about, spiritual awakening, but we can label it in many other ways. We can call it our third eye opening. We can call it having a better grasp of spirituality. We can call it ascension, ascending higher to higher levels of frequencies that are both healthy and happy to our well-being. This can be called activation of our chi or activation of our kundalini energy. It's all about spiritual awakening that is in a very profound and gravitating you toward learning more and more, almost as if this quest for spirituality is the best and most addictive drug that you've ever experienced, but in a very healthy way. So I'm going to go over some signs that are very common that a lot of us do experience when, our third eye is awakening or is, becoming more awake in a state of, constant use in which we are aware in a way that we have never been aware before. And it's almost as if spirituality or the thoughts that are manifested with spirituality take precedent over any negative thoughts or any kind of physical, stresses that we have on this earth plane, because we realize when our third eye is opened and our kundalini is activated, how very, very temporary this life is, and that it is about life lessons. So we then perspective on some of the things that we held on to with resentment from the past experiences we've had in this life. So some signs that can be experienced. For one, you start asking very meaningful, deep, and extremely relevant questions about the entire world around you and its structure. There's an insistent yearning that you have to help out with the things that you then discover or things that you've been passionate about in the past, but educate yourself on further. It just pings in your heart and you start to become very emotionally involved with, again, things that are going on in the world around you that to you seem unfair, unjust, and not in alignment with your truth. Another sign is that you begin to understand, if you've ever heard it in the world, what it means to answer to a higher calling or be true to your higher self or be very transparent and true to your authentic self. You sort of go through in your mind in the past and say to yourself, wow, I was not in alignment at that time with what innately my intuitive compass is telling me that my higher authentic self really truly believes. Another sign is you begin to take the future much more seriously than ever before. You just understand that life is extremely precious, more than ever before, and you feel as if you finally thoroughly understand that you need to make the most of it, need not waste any time with bitterness, resentment, or carrying guilt or anger toward other people or yourself. You do this, and at some point in your journey, you do purge this, but a part of going through it is the acknowledgement that before your lifetime ends, these understandings about the importance of not holding on to negative emotions, traumas, or experiences blocked in memory inside of yourself does no good. Other signs is you are just divinely, intuitively drawn so strongly to research and to watch documentaries, to read tons of books, to connect with other like-minded souls about a specific era or time and place in history's past. Now, whether or not this is connecting you perhaps with a yearning to find out about any past lives that you've had, or whether or not this is about understanding a common and replayed theme that is going on in the world around you today, such as the injustices of the past, or wars, or different lessons that have been learned in the past, you somehow are gravitating toward and researching, watching documentaries, reading books about that said subject. So something within you, innately tells you this is because you have potentially lived through that type of lesson before in a past life, or in a metaphoric sense, have lived through that in this lifetime and need to address whatever theme that is. Another very, very, very significant sign, I believe, that I haven't heard many people talk of, but I know that I experience, and so do others that I've spoken with, have an increased reactivity to the ebb and flow of the planetary bodies. So on new moons, full moons, that affects you more than ever before. Or big, astronomical aspects, especially eclipses or things of that nature. Just very, very incredibly powerful emotions or energetic feelings that sometimes are hard to describe will come along with these aspects, or solar radiation, emissions from the sun in solar flares. It will affect you more and more as you become more spiritually aware of your true inner authentic self. Another thing is you really, really, truly begin to connect with the past, the present, and the future all in one. It's very tough to describe to somebody who may not be experiencing it or can understand going through that part, but it's almost as if your new, spiritually aware, opened third eye understands the concept that we perhaps have already experienced all of time already. Perhaps we have lived in the past before, lived now, and already lived our future. That this is a sort of angelic school full of lessons, and that time is but a relevant part of the observation. It is very difficult to describe that, but a lot of people try to put that into words. Something else is, you can start to have precognitive dreams. Definitely know that I did, and it ramps up. These dreams often will give you insight, if they are not precognitive, giving you insight into some sort of message that is very imperative for your journey, or a mysterious concept that only makes sense to you as you journal, perhaps. That's recommended. I would recommend that highly after every time you wake up and have, recalling a dream. This will enhance your reality and understanding of the world. You also are just indefinitely, by the second, by the millisecond, becoming increasingly aware. Your awareness comes to a peak, acutely and sensitively aware of every sound, every light, and every energetic vibration around you. You see the most, beautiful and subtle of vibrations. Sometimes other people don't. Therefore, sometimes even seeing auras, ghosts, spirits, things that are trans-dimensional, things beyond the veil that other people might not pick up on. This is completely normal, and that is why many people question if they are going crazy when this first happens to them. You definitely also, another sign is you suddenly can have a calling and desire to eat healthier, obtain a cleaner diet. Sometimes people even have a dark night of the soul focusing on the animals being slaughtered for meat, for instance, and the injustice of keeping, caged birds and treating the animals that we use to eat inhumanely. That is very common. Suddenly, people can turn vegetarian. they can never look back, and some of them just feel this objective strongly and work toward that, even if they do not act on it. The conscientiousness is there with the desire to eat healthy, sustainable, clean food to build up more of this, effective energy that is of the light for this very passionate life mission that you finally have realized you must be on. Although a lot of people, that's another sign, always ponder what exactly their life mission could be because of this strong, overwhelming calling. Some people have difficulty in putting their energy where they believe it should be. But the truth is, just follow your intuition where it leads you, and you will be inspired and compelled and definitely know when you are helping in the modality you choose exactly what your life journey is supposed to be. You definitely also have a brand new, genuine perspective. You become so much more tolerant, so much more able to enjoy the moment, so much more present, happier, and you find out that being stressed over material things just does not make sense. And you then, of course, exude this loving, compassionate understanding. Now, that's not to say that when we are, going through spiritual awakeness and overcoming this 3D, three-dimensional type of world and mindset and programming, that's not to say that it is a walk in the park or, a cakewalk. There are dark nights of the soul. That is another thing, a sign commonly experienced. And this is not just a bad day, bad night. This is some heavy shit in which you find yourself pondering a lot of shadow work. You find yourself really, really, really questioning all of these symptoms and find yourself really either hurt or affected or having to acknowledge the toxic, traumas that may be blocked within your energy field. And you begin to, after dark nights of the soul, reset, rebound, bounce back with meditative work and other cool things you can do to kind of reset yourself and have the aim and the goal be to clear those blocks so that you can be more effective in your journey. You also begin to see unity in comparison to division, and you see unity within all other souls, and understand this goes so much deeper. Unity is within everything: the forest, the trees, the sea, the land, the rocks, the planetary bodies, the universe, animals. Everything is connected, and you see this connectivity more than ever, and it emits such a pure feeling of light and joy within your entire being. It's beautiful. And another and final sign when you are experiencing, spiritual awareness that is heightened, or your third eye is opening. And believe me, this is not an entire list, but the last one I will go through is you begin to see signs everywhere that seem to be directed just toward you. It is not psychological or in your imagination. You see these kind of synchronicities that would beat any odd on being just a coincidence. Synchronicities flourish, like seeing, of course, numbers repetitively, like 111, 1111, 222, etc. It is extremely common to see even a set of numbers that is specific to you. One client asked me, why am I seeing 1, 2, 3, 4? Why am I seeing 35, 56? There is significance, and if you are just seeing a repetitive message over and over, or repetitive names on billboards, or something that just follows you everywhere, rest assured, this is, if not for any, meaning to be deciphered, it is indeed, definitely, I can tell you, a sign from the divine stating that this is the truth. This is the divine nature of the truth of your soul. And it is encouraging you to go further in your path and to walk in your truth even stronger as you evolve in your spiritual awakening, and as you evolve and accept this awareness It can be scary, guys, but it's the most beautiful thing in the world when we come to this conclusion. We are all tied in together as one big collective soul family. Blessings, love, and light. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to your Shani with Healing Elements. Bye-bye, guys.